here. Okay, I've played the original Hexcells, I've played Hexcells Plus, I've got 2 levels left in Hexcells Plus that I haven't beaten yet. When I was done beating those, I was gonna move on to Hexcells Infinite, but for now, let's just drop into Hexcells Infinite and see where this one begins. So I think it's probably gonna start by teaching us the basic mechanics again, just to make sure we remember them. So, orange cells are hidden, you don't know what's under them. There could be a black cell underneath them that just has the number of blue cells next to it, or there could be a blue cell. So in the case of this 6 here, that means that there are 6 blue cells hidden under these orange cells. So I can just click the orange cells, reveal that they're all blue, great. This one has 0 blue cells. That means I need to right-click them instead of left-clicking them to reveal that they're black cells. If I left-click a black cell, it's wrong, it's a mistake, and it gets logged in my mistakes up here. If I right-click a blue cell, similarly, it's logged as a mistake. So I got to figure things out. Like so here, this one is next to 3 blue cells. And there's only 3 orange cells next to it, so great, I know that they're all blue. This number 2 here, it's already got 2 next to it now, so I know that these are all black. And then 4, it's got 4. So I succeeded. So it's just the exact same logic that you would use in Minecraft, only it goes up to, instead of being squares that have 8 other squares next to them, this is hexes that have 6 other hexes next to them. So it's Cloudcraft, exactly. It is basically like Minesweeper. The only thing, I have one quibble with this game, which is that they reversed the control scheme of Minesweeper. In Minesweeper, you right-click where you think the cool thing is, and you left-click where you think nothing is and where numbers are. This one, it's reversed. You right-click where you think the blank cells and where the nothing is, and where the numbers are, and you left-click where the things you're looking for are. And it just, half the time when I get a mistake, it's because I forgot which button I was pressing. So this one's 0, so I can right-click those, right-click these. This one's only next to 1, right-click that. This one's still next to 1, right-click that. Only 1 there. 1, 0. Okay, this is next to 1, so I gotta stop here because I don't know which one of these it is. One thing that's nice, so unlike Minesweeper, these are not randomly generated. These are handcrafted levels. So they're designed to get you into these points where there's only one logical leap you need to make in order to break through and do the next part. It had to be crazy complicated to put this together, but the puzzles are really clever and I really like them. They slowly ease you into different kinds of thinking to try to figure out the logic of it over time. So like here, so I know that one of these is a 1, is a blue cell, and it means that one of these other ones is a blue cell because there's a 2 here. But that doesn't give me enough information to make any commitments. So let's go over here. This one is next to 2, that one's next to 1, this one's next to 1, that one is to 2, 1, 0. Okay, so there are 2 left, 2 remaining. One of them is here and one of them is here. That means that these 2 are not there. 0. So that gives me what I needed. Yeah, so Cloudcraft, so right now it feels like it's just Minesweeper, but if they start adding some additional things, you start getting blue cells with numbers on them. When you have a blue cell with a number, that means that it's counting the number of other blue cells that are around it within a certain radius. So, and then you also will start getting numbers on the edges that say how many blue cells are in the line proceeding from that edge. So you end up having like crisscrossing like adjacency with big areas with these like lines going through the map, and so you're sort of like triangulating in all these different ways to try to figure out which cells are the blue cells. And so it's you get some really fascinating logic puzzles here. So this is a 1, that means that it can only have 1 next to it. This is a 5, means normally I know there's 1 blank cell around it here somewhere. I wouldn't know where it was, except I know now it has to be here, right? Because that's where the 1 is. So that means that these are all blue. One of these is black, but then I know that none of these are blue, so I can mark those out. So now what does that give me? That gives me this 2 right here, and that reveals that, and then that 1, that's a 2, right there, that's a 3, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and that's already next to all of its 3. This 1 is next to everything. That one. This one. 3. That 1 right there. 3 and 3. Ta-da! So I'm just kind of blathering through it here because I've gotten really used to the kinds of decisions you make. So okay, so here's one of the new additions that they make to the logic. So here, these brackets mean that all 3 of the ones that are adjacent to this hex are adjacent to each other. So that means I know it's these 2 because this one's already selected and those ones are not it. This 2, similarly, I know that the remaining blue hex here is either this one or that one. So it's not these 2, and then these 2 tell me which one it is. Here, I know that they're adjacent to each other, which means this one must be it. And because that one must be it, these 2 must be it because of that one. So we go there, 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 and that comes around and reveals that. Let's see here. Okay, so this one has to have them be adjacent to each other, which means it can't be this one because this one's not adjacent to anything. So and that's a 0, which is very helpful always. That's a 2, that's a 1. And similarly, we know that this one has to be it because the 2 possible adjacencies overlap there. That's a 0. That doesn't help me very much. Okay, that 1 right there. And then, these are not overlapping in helpful ways. So one of these is blue. 2 of these. Okay, so I know it can't be both of these because of the 1 there. So that means that this is definitely 1 because these 2 collectively are 1. And so that means these 2 collectively are 1, and that still doesn't give me very much. Yeah, so in cases like this, like I know one of these is blue and one of these is blue, but it could be they share this 1 right here, which could solve it, but it could also mean that this one is blue and that one is blue, and I don't know which of those scenarios is true. If it's this one, then that, and then, yeah, like there's nothing to tell me which one is correct, so I can't nail that one. Yeah, Cloudcraft, feel free to help out. These are early levels anyway. I don't have too much of my ego invested in me finding all the solutions to them. So, if you want to offer ideas, feel free. Though, I'm interested in how you solve the challenge of how to communicate your tips to me. Given that we're talking about a big grid of hexes, language is not really designed all that well to describe this. If we were bees, maybe, we would have a language designed for this. All right. So I know there's one here, there's one here, and there's one here. But that could be, it could be these 2, or it could be these 2. And I don't think there's anything telling me which one it is. 2 just used to mark a hex also accounts for the one below it. So the 2 you just used to mark a hex also accounts for the one below it and to the right. Are you talking about these 2 here? Hey there, Tivama. Okay, so Cloudcraft is... I'm not sure if I'm reading Cloudcraft right. He says that there's definitely one blank one and one blue one that I can confirm from what I've got in front of me. I'm sure there is, because there has to be something. This isn't going to be an unsolvable puzzle. I'm just not certain that I understand what he's suggesting. Hey there, X Rogan. So for those of you who came in, I just realized I never updated my Twitch settings here to say that I'm playing Hexcells. Oh, come on. What? Hexcells Infinite. So, okay, I'm updating my Twitch settings that way. All right, back to Hexcells. Okay, so he's saying that I do know something about these two hexes, more than I apparently think that I do. Because I'm pretty sure that there's two configurations that could solve this. One is this one is blue and that one is blue. I think that solves everything here. But also this one is blue and that one is blue also solves it just as well. I don't think that I've got something that distinguishes between those two, that tells me which one is right. If it's this one, and that would be this one. If it's this one and this one, would oh, wait a minute. But I don't think there's not an answer where this one is blue. Like, because if this one is blue, neither of these can be blue, and that means that this one is wrong. So this one is definitely not blue, which means this one is blue. Okay, which is probably what you were saying, Cloudcraft, right? See here, if one of those two spaces between the two, one has to be blue, the one to the right, the one is empty. Okay, yes, you were saying the exact same thing that I was saying. Okay, perfect. So, okay, thank you for keeping me focused here, because I think, yeah, because that was the answer. So, what we've got is, okay, so this one is saying there's definitely one here, which means that this one is satisfied with the one that's here, so it doesn't need that one. This one says there are 3 in a row, and not these, which means I have that one, which means I have that one, which means I have that one, and 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 that's a 1, which means this one's satisfied, and that's a 1. Oh, wait, oh crap, that's a 1. See, there you go. I just hit the wrong button randomly sometimes. Okay, there we go. And so, okay, I think I was actually thinking, for some reason, I have this tendency when I'm looking at a 1, sometimes I will miss the blue cell that's next to it, and I'll think that there's another blue cell next to it, and when I'm going fast, I misread it that way a lot. All right, so that one's taken care of, and there's 1 left, so it's that one. If there are no brackets, that does not mean they're definitely not adjacent. There's actually a separate symbol for that. When there's dashes next to it, that means they're definitely not adjacent. This one means they could be in any configuration at all. So we know that, we know this, we know that, and that, and that, and that. When you have a wall like that, like if this one wasn't already out there, having a wall like this often will cut off an entire part of the map. You're like, I can't get there. But this one, okay, no, that's not it, and these are not it, then that. That one, none of those. Okay, and this one has 5 adjacent, but I don't know which ones. I know that, let's see here. That must be it. And I still think that doesn't tell me anything about which one around here is blank. This is kind of silly because 5s are always adjacent, so that's not really telling me anything extra there. But that really was me just hitting the wrong button that time. I actually was trying to hit that blue, but like I said, this is essentially Minesweeper, except they flipped what the buttons do. And so sometimes I will just, my old Minesweeper habits will kick in, and I'll just use the wrong buttons for things, and it drives me up the wall. Game's still good though. All right, it's gotta be that way, then that. Oh, never finished that one. Okay, that was me misreading a 1, like I often do. So that was a legit mistake. But a fast-moving mistake, which I think, I feel a little bit better about those. So mistakes cut down on the amount of points I get for completing the puzzle, which slows down my rate of unlocking future puzzles. If I wanted to, I could trial and error this thing, consciously take on a certain number of mistakes, and just progress more slowly. And that's fine. So I try to do perfect logic to figure it all out. I try not to ever have my success be because I randomly clicked something and found out what it was. Like, I always want my success to be that I deduced the answers from what was in front of me. But when I'm moving fast, sometimes I get ahead of myself. I have a couple of times, like, especially with one this small, if I get up to 2 mistakes, I'll be like, let's restart it and try it again. And it's impossible to remember where everything is, and I don't go by memory, I refigure it out again. And this time I remember where I made dumb mistakes, and I just don't make the mistakes again, and I feel like I sort of accomplished it from scratch all over again. Okay, so there's definitely 2 here, and there's definitely 1 here, but like, it could be this one, and, well, no, it could not be these 2, so that one is definitely 1, because of that 1 there. That's, so you see, you can see the handcraftedness of this puzzle, right? I got to that point, there was only one thing that I could possibly deduce, and that was that these both could not be blue. And that's because of the starting conditions. This one was already clicked when I first came in. So whoever designed this puzzle got to that point and was like, okay, if I tell them this is a 1, that means that they know this one's blue and they can complete this too. Like, they were planning out the way that I would progress, through exactly how I was going to progress through this puzzle, so that they could put those choke points in where everything comes down to one piece of information that I have, which is just, it's a brilliant way for this to work, because those were always the most interesting and challenging parts of Minesweeper puzzles. And I love those. I love those particular moments, but they were kind of they were random. And with a game this, you know, with this got as many new mechanics compared to Minesweeper, it's as complex as this. Like, trying to make sure that each of the really clever logic-y moments happen is hard. Because, I mean, because Minesweeper was procedurally generated, there were a lot of puzzles that could not be deduced. Like you had to do it right. I mean, even the beginning of it, you know, just, you never knew if you were going to click on a mine just with your very first click. There wasn't that ability to assure you that you could deduce the entire game. But Hexcells does, but by handcrafting their puzzles, they do guarantee that you can deduce your way through every single puzzle. You don't have to rely on random chance. And they set it up with these choke points where they make sure that not only do you can you deduce the whole thing, but you must pass through, if you want to deduce the whole thing, you must pass through these specific kinds of logic challenges that make you think about the numbers and the way they relate to each other, and the geometry and the way that relates to itself in a new way that you haven't done before. So it's really great stuff. I feel like it's making me stretch my mind in a way that Minesweeper never really did. So, okay. So I know one of these is blue. Oh, okay, this one's already taken care of. These 2. So this is the last one. It's in here somewhere. So I know that these are not it. And this one is taken care of, so it's that one. Oh, Cloudcraft, you're right. The first click in Minecraft was always safe. I mean, Minesweeper. First click in Minesweeper was always safe. But then, if you just landed on, you know, something useless, you'd still have to click around in order to find, you know, a large enough blank area that you could start deducing things. All right, so I completed the first round. That unlocks this additional round. But let me back out to the menu, because there's a new feature they added in Hexcells Infinite that I haven't tried yet, which is infinite mode. So, decide what seed you want to use. And then it generates a puzzle for you. I'm assuming that they've got some super awesome, complicated algorithm that generates puzzles that are deducible. So we'll figure out if that's the case. So, new things that are added for this puzzle. These right here. This tells me that there are 2 blue cells in this line and that they're adjacent to each other. Same thing with this one. This one tells me there are 3 in this line and they are not all adjacent to each other. So there's a gap in them somewhere. This just says there's 1 blue cell in this line somewhere. Okay, so we know that, oh, and this one, it doesn't tell me what number are next to it. So it kind of blocks me from knowing anything in that direction. So this one tells me there's 0 here. So I know I can reveal all of those. I can reveal all of that and that. Oh, I also know this. 1. Okay, this is a blue. Okay, this blue 3 means that somewhere within 2 cells of this 3, this big sort of larger hex, there are 3 blue ones. Which is interesting because this 4 here is adjacent to 4. So it's adjacent to the 3 and it's adjacent to 3 more, and they are all within the bounds of this 3 here. So that means that all of these other ones that are not adjacent to the 4 must be blank. That's definitely 1. That's definitely not. That means the other 2 are. Here's a 4. Well, actually, wait. First, let's... Yeah, we don't know anything about that. Okay, so it's next to 4. So there's 1, 2, 3 within 2 cells of it. And that's 4th one right there. This one, okay, there's 2 in that line, so that's pretty obvious. So this one, they've got to be adjacent to each other, which means that... I clicked the wrong button. That one could not possibly be it. This one has got 2 next to it that are not adjacent, which means it can't be both of these, so one of them has to be this one. And that 1 told me that too. That's next to 0, so it's like that. And that's like this. And this one's already next to 2 now, so I can reveal it that way. That's next to 1. So this is actually a little bit easier than the handcrafted ones because they're not consciously trying to thread me through these logical bottlenecks. Yeah, so I'm just wondering, what I'm betting it does is I bet that the AI or that's assembling this just lays out a random pattern of these things first, and then it starts like deciding what information to reveal to me, and it probably just goes through a process of revealing a few things, trying to solve the puzzle itself, and then deciding what additional information it needs. I'm betting it goes through a process something like that. I don't know though. It's not like again, hitting the wrong button by accident. Okay, so this one says 3 not adjacent, doesn't tell me anything. There's a 4, so there's 2 in here somewhere, doesn't tell me much. Oh, okay, so this one says there's only 1 here, which means that these are not it. That one is 3 not adjacent, which means it can't be all 3 of these. It means that this one has to be it, which means that one can't, and that one can't. This one has to be those 2, which doesn't actually help me with anything else. This one can't be that one because they're adjacent. That means that one has to be that 1. 4, so 1 of these is it. I already knew that. 2, oh, okay, well, this one, there are already 2. There's the 0. 1 of these is it. Down to 5 left. Okay, so this one says there's 2 adjacent to each other over here, so that one's got to be it, which means that one is not. This one says there's 3, still doesn't tell me much. Oh, this... Okay, oh, that one. I know that one's not it, which means that one is. This one's only next to 1 within 2, which means that these are not. And... So, okay, the tough thing is... Not only does it have to place spots to give you information, there's also places where it explicitly puts places to block information, so that does make the generation process more complicated, huh? I'm still impressed with how these guys put this together. So there's 1 more here, which I already knew, and there's 1 here. Okay, I've got 3 left, and there's 1 here, and there's 1 here, definitely, and there's a 3rd one somewhere in here. So the question is this one of the remaining ones? Which, oh wait, oh here we are, here's the answer, the 1 right there. So there's only 1 here, which means it's not this one, or this one, which makes it much easier. There we go. Took me 5 minutes. Well, that's pretty cool. So I can get through all of the bespoke puzzles, basically, and then I can just keep playing this game forever. And I think we're about out of time. So that is Hexcells. Right now on the Steam sale, this thing is only like you only have to pay like $1 for it, and I've had a blast with it. So I definitely recommend it. It's super, super cheap and lots of fun. Cloudcraft, you're probably right. They probably do start with all question marks. That would make sense. All right. Well, we're gonna go.